If you're single in your 20s or 30s and you've been telling yourself you'll deal with property later, when you meet someone, when the timing is right, when you are more settled, then I'm going to tell you something that most others won't. Because the market is not your clock. You are. In Singapore, if you're a single citizen below 35, you cannot buy a HDB flat. Not a BTO, not a resale flat, not on your own. The rules will say come back when you are 35. So if you've been waiting for a partner to feel ready for the right time, I want you to see what waiting costs you. And then I'll show you a move that is available to you right now. One where you can own a property without ever touching your salary. So stay with me. I want to share with you one numbers that most singles get wrong. And it's not the loan. I'll come back to it later. So let's reframe the whole thing. Most people think that property is about finding the right unit at the right time. Time the market, don't miss the gains. So that is the FOMO story. And right now, it's also just not true. In 2025, private homes rose about 3% for the whole year, right? That is the smallest increase since 2020. And the first quarter of 2026 came in around 0.3%. HDB resale prices actually dipped slightly, first time in 7 years. So this is not a market running away from you. So anyone telling you to panic buy before you miss the gains is just selling you fear. So I want to think of it like this instead. Property is not about timing the market, it's about making the right risk-adjusted move within the entry, the livability, your structure, and the exit that you think about. Not just the right home, but the right move. And if you are single under 35, your move has a very specific shape. So I run every buyers through 3 filters, which is the entry, livability, and the appeal. And let me run you through them right now. Entry is where you can get in and stay in without becoming house poor. Since HDB is close to you until you are 35, your possible route is private. Your real edge is time. You can borrow up to 75% of the price as long as a loan runs within 30 years and doesn't stretch past 65. So at 30, you get the full 30-year runway. That ends when you are 60 and keeps your monthly repayment as low as it can possibly go. If you wait until you are 40, that runway compresses. You get a shorter loan, you get a higher monthly repayment, and eventually the bank lends you less because of the price. So the same unit, worse terms purely because you waited longer. So the real cost of later is not the missed gains, but the lost runway that you have right now. Now, the number that a lot of people actually get wrong. People assume that the barrier is the monthly loan. Actually, it is not. On a fixed income of around $7,000 per month, no car loan, no other debts, the rule can support you to a loan of about $800K. And that puts you in a position of being able to go for property close to the $1 million mark. But that loan is not your gate. Your gate is the CPF that you need upfront. On a purchase of, let's say, $1 million, your down payment is about $250K before you consider the buyer's stamp duty and also 5% cash inside that 25% down payment. So the honest question is not, can I get the loan? Banks will usually say yes, depending on your credit. The real question is, do you have the staying power? The costly mistake is not being rejected by the loan. It is being approved and stretching yourself to the ceiling. Entry is not the highest number that the bank will lend you. It is the highest number that you can carry calmly and peacefully every single month. Not the same number. Second filter is the livability. What is this property actually for? And here is where being single changes everything in your favor. A lot of Singaporeans stay with their families well until their 30s and some even 40s. That is normal here. There is no shame in that. And that quietly unlocks an option most people don't even consider. You don't have to buy a place to live in it. You can just buy one purely as an asset. So that's a completely different decision. If you're living in it, layout and your daily life matters a lot. If it's just an asset, you will rent it out. You care about the tenant demand and whether the numbers work. That is the most important, not just some glossy show flat. So what you must not do is to buy a unit that serves none of the purpose. One that you won't enjoy living in it and one that you can't even rent it out. That is a FOMO purchase. Getting in is not a strategy. Getting in right is the way to go. So let me show you what getting it right actually looks like. A friend of mine, single, just turned 35, like a lot of us, he was living with his family, perfectly happy doing it, and he didn't need a place to live. So we didn't treat the property that he's going to purchase like a home. We treated it like an asset. So we strategized the whole thing. What to buy, where, at what entry price, with one question leading everything. Will this unit rent well and will it hold its value when he sells? We found the unit, I guided him through the frameworks and the purchasers. We got it and rented it out. So here's the part where you are interested in. The rent that he collects every single month covers his monthly installment. The tenant is effectively paying down his property for him. And there's still balance left every single month for whatever he wants to use it for. His own salary, untouched. He's not bleeding his paycheck to mortgage. His income is his own, and in the background, he owns an asset someone else is funding. Now, I'll be straight with you because that's the point of this channel. This does not happen automatically. It only works because we bought the right unit at the right entry price in a location that actually rents well. If you buy the wrong asset on FOMO and you get the opposite, your unit will just sit empty, eating your salary every single month. The outcome is not just luck. It is from strategy. But it shows you the possibility while other people your age are just waiting for a partner, for the perfect moment, for permission. He made that move that quietly works for him in the background. That's the difference between watching the market move and having a piece of it move with you. Third filter, and that's the one that most people skip, is the appeal, which is your exit. The day that you buy, think about the day that you sell. Because your life changed, you partner up, you upgrade, you move, and someone has to want your unit when you want to sell it. Two things will decide that quietly in the background, right? So that's tenure and liquidity. There is a misconception that 99-year lease is a melting ice cube. The clock starts from the day that it's built, a small unit in an oversupplied pocket, bought at a peak PSF. Could it be genuinely hard to sell later? Will your next buyer face the same decay that you ignored? When you hear one-bedroom new launch around $1 million, the question is never, can you afford it? The more important question is, in 5 to 10 years, when you want to sell this, will there still be people who want to buy that from you? And if the answer to that is no, then it's just a trap. And that's why I run my frameworks with my clients, to manage the downsides and the risk of each and every option that we're looking at before we choose the safest one. So tying it all together, the system is not punishing you for being single. It's handing you a strong hand. The longest loan runway that you ever have right now in a calm market that doesn't force you to panic. And if you live with your family, the option makes your first property an asset instead of an expense, because this is a huge advantage you should be looking at. But it's also a market with a large supply coming up, where the authorities are openly telling the buyers to be prudent. Calm is not the same as safe. Calm just means you have time to choose well instead of choose fast. And one more guardrail that the government has in place is the SSD, Seller Stamp Duty. This is to stop people from flipping homes. So you have to consider your move as a move that you make for a longer period of time, something that you make deliberately rather than something that you make quickly. And the thing that most people don't talk about is who should not buy right now. If your income is not stable yet, build the buffer first. Don't stretch yourself to the sky just to get into the market. If you're 33 or 34 and genuinely want to buy a HDB flat, then it's worth waiting that 1 or 2 more years before you reach 35. And some of you might even get up to 100k in grant. Now that is real money, and for some of you, that is the smarter move. If you're chasing the rental play but you don't have the upfront capital or the staying power, then you gotta slow down. A wrong asset doesn't pay your mortgage, it becomes your liability. And if you are a single PR, then the math is completely different. There's a 5% stamp duty on top of your buyer's stamp duty. There's no HDB pathway at all. That is a separate conversation, but it is an important one. So this video is not here to push you into the market. It's here to make sure that when you move from a position of strength. So your honest next step, if you're single and you want to know what your actual runway looks like, not just a generic number, your real position, your timeline, your financials, your risk, and whether a rental play move like my friends is realistic for you, that's exactly what my property decision audit is for. Do remember, this is a strategy session, not a sales pitch. If it's not the right time for you to buy, I will genuinely tell you that upfront. Reach out to me on WhatsApp and I'll send you the details. And if you know someone single, capable, and quietly assuming that they have to wait for a partner to build something of their own, send this to them. Not to pressure them, but to give them the clarity that nobody gave us early enough. Because the goal was never to just own the right home, it's to make the right move. I'll see you in the next one.